Welcome back, everyone. This is part 2 of parametric modeling, the Project Lead the Way 1.2.2. If you need to see part 1 to figure out how to get this chart put together, go back and see my other video. Otherwise, at this point, we're going to continue on. What we're looking to do, I'm going to go ahead and bring the other document up. This is Project Lead the Way 1.2.2 parametric modeling. We're looking to create these pieces here. And I'm going to go ahead and start with the bottom here. The bottom and the top are the same thing, except for the top also has a little circle on this. The two short sides are the same, and the two long sides are the same. So let's go ahead and create this bottom piece, which is going to look something very similar to this. We're going to have a width of this of our box. We have a length of our box. If we come back up here, this will be the width, and this will be the length. And that's what we're going to go ahead and design first. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and set up a construction box around this thing so I make sure everything really fits in where I want this thing to. So let's go ahead and jump back over here. I'm going to make sure the focus is on my shoebox bottom since I'm coming back. I'm going to create a new sketch. I'm going to put it right here on the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and name this thing. This is going to be shoebox bottom sketch. The other sketch one, that's just because I was playing around a little bit earlier with this. Okay, so here we go. I am going to create a rectangle. I'm going to go ahead and make this thing a 2-point rectangle. I'm going to make sure my line type is construction. Start at my origin point. And the width of this thing is width. And sorry, that was length. My bad. Length. And then the other one is width. And there we go. I now have my construction box. And I'm happy with that. All right, now if I look at this end here on my width side, it shows that I'm actually down in this thing a little bit. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. There we go. It shows that I'm down in this thing, which is going to be the thickness of my board. So I'm going to put a construction line in the thickness to come down, and then I'm going to use my width end to get to here. I'm going to then use my thickness to get back up. This will be my notch size, so my NS. And then I'll come back down with my thickness and come back halfway with my W end again. And that's going to give me something that's going to be a repeatable pattern. So let me go ahead and start that. I'm going to grab my regular line, and I'm going to make sure this is a construction. Come right off the origin, and I am going to come down the thickness, HK. And there it is right there. Now I'm going to go ahead and start a regular line. So I'm going to turn off construction, my regular line, and this is my W end. I'm going to now come up from my W end at 90 degrees. This is going to be at the THK, my thickness. Good. I'm now going to come across off this endpoint here. This is my notch size, so NS. Good. And then I'm going to come back down off this endpoint, the thickness, THK. And I'm going to finish off this repeatable piece from my endpoint at my W end. And there we go. So I now have stuff here that is completely repeatable. So I'm now going to go ahead and create a pattern. I'm going to create a rectangular pattern. I'm going to grab my objects. So I need this line, this line. This one's trying to grab my whole width line. So if you hold down the mouse button, you can see I have two choices. And as I highlight them, you can see them changing over here. I do not want the first sketch line, I want the other sketch line. I'm going to grab this line, and I'm going to grab that line. So there is the parts that I want to to repeat. I want this to go in the y direction, so my x number, which is right here, is going to go down to 1. I'm happy with that. My y direction is going to be my num in the width. My distance is going to be, it's got an ns right here, so I'm going to go ns plus, open parentheses, this is my w end, w score end times 2, close parentheses. That should, ns, and my direction is going this way. Oh, I need to change from extent to spacing also. So let's try that again. My spacing is ns times, or plus, sorry, plus, open parentheses, and that's going to be my w end times 2, close parentheses. And there they all show up. So I have my pattern. I'm going to say OK. Let's go ahead and create the next pattern right over here. So again, it looks like this thing is down, so I need to make sure I start down. And it's going to be a full notch, or my LN, and then go through my notching again. So I'm right here. So from here to here, it's going to be LN. Let me go ahead and create a construction line from here. This is L end, which happens to look like it's exactly the same as this spot right here. So I'm happy with that. I'm now going to go ahead and create this line here. Oops, try again. Create this line. This is going to be the thickness. Okay. This way, this is my NS. I need my downline. This is my THK. It appears I forgot to turn off construction lines. That's not good. I'll fix this in 1 second. All right, and then let's come across with another line. And this is my L end. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and grab these lines here. Turn off these constructions. I need the lower one. Turn off the construction. Turn off the lower. That's good. There it is. Turn off that lower. Turn off that lower. There we go. And now I can start my pattern again. So create rectangular pattern. I'm going to grab this line, that line, that line, that line, and that line. I'm going to be spacing, which is what I want. This is now going to go in the X direction. So my quantity is L, or num L. This. My distance is L end times 2, like we did before, plus NS. And then my Y direction, this is going to be 1. Looks like what I want. I'm going to say OK. And there they are. So I can keep going around and doing all of that for all four sides. But now that I have these two here, I'm going to shortcut this just a little bit. I'm going to put a construction line right at the midpoint of this thing. Looks like it's right. Actually, let's do it off this line because I don't have anything on it. Come down to find my triangle. There we go. I'm going to come straight up this side. And I'm going to do it again off this line here. I'm going to find my midpoint, come right across. All right. And now what I can do is just mirror these things. So I'm going to grab my mirror tool. I'm going to grab that one. Grab all of you. It's actually probably easier just do it this way. All of you. There we go. And you. And you. All right, everything looks good. Grab my mirror line, which is this line. And now I have everything over there. This all looks good. I'm going to say OK. You can see all these mirroring things are showing up, which is perfectly fine. And I will now do this across the top. So I'm going to mirror. What is it I'm mirroring? I'm going to mirror this, this. Grab all that. Let's grab all this. This one and this one. Select that again so it goes away. My mirror line is right here. It's going to show up at the bottom, which is what I want. So I'm going to say OK. And this looks like what I want. So let me go ahead and finish my sketch. There we go. Looks like I have what I need. Does it look like the other drawing? Not really. These ones look like they're off a little bit, but I went off my math, so I guess it's right. I will probably end up having like a little piece there when we do the other part. So I'm going to now, I have my sketch finished. I'm going to go ahead and extrude this thing. So let's extrude this thing. The distance is going to be THK. This will be the thickness of the board. I'll leave this as a new body. And there's my piece. And there we go. So that's the bottom of this thing. For the top, I'm going to show you a little bit of a trick here, which is I'm going to right click on my component. I'm going to go ahead and copy it. There we go. I'm going to change my focus up here back to my main project. And then I'm going to right click and click on paste new. Now what that's going to do, usually if we want to bring in a component and have them tied to each other so everything mirrors, and if I change one, it changes the other, which is what we'll do on the sides and we'll do it on the long ends. But for the top and bottom, since they are different, I'm going to do a paste new. And you can see this thing now says sketch bottom, parentheses 1, parentheses, and then :1, meaning this is the first one of it, which is what I want. Components, one of them. I'm happy with that. I'm going to move this thing up and out of the way. So I'm happy with it. And I'm going to say OK. Now I'm going to change my shoebox bottom, parentheses 1, to shoebox top. There we go. And from here, I can go ahead and put in that, that hole. If I want to, I'm going to come back into my sketch here. This is I'm going to rename this one shoebox top. sketch. That, because I don't need it. Don't need that one either. There we go. So I have my sketches here. I'm going to come in and edit this top one. And what it shows is, it shows the circle here, but it doesn't really give us a size. So we're going to make that up. Yep, I'm going to make it up. Okay. So I'm going to come here. I'm going to create a circle on the center line. I'll be happy with that. The size of mine, diameter, I'm going to make it just my notch size. Yeah, I think I like that. Notch size. And then I'm going to give this thing a dimension. There we go. And I think I'm going to make this my notch size times 4. Look like, ooh, way too much. How about notch size times 3? I don't like it. Times 2? Yep, times 2. That's what I'm going to go with. I finish my sketch. I'm going to come back here to my timeline for my shoebox top. I'm going to double click it in my timeline, which is going to bring in my my feature here. And I'm going to select the circle again. So it turns off. Say OK. And there it is. Okay, so that gets me my top and bottom. Again, we had the short sides that we have to do, and we have the long sides we have to do. This is what I want you all to work with today. You've seen how to create the top and bottom. You now need to go through and, before I post my next video, try to figure out the short sides and the figure out the short sides and the long sides. Look at the way your tabs are as you're building these things, and make sure that they're the way you want. Like for me, I ended up putting little points in here, which may not have been right, but it means I have to adjust for it when I actually create my sides here. So go ahead, work on these things. If you have any questions, please let me know.